when you want to add or subtract square roots, you have to make sure that the number inside the square root is the same. And then we will have common square roots that we can combine together. For example, this here, we have 2 square root of 5 and 4 square root of 5. Since they're both square root of 5s, we are allowed to combine those together. So we just add that, we just add the 2 and the 4, makes 6, and then you just put the square root on the end there. Now, if that was a 5 and a 7, for instance, we could not combine these together. So that's the only way you can combine, is that they're the same. So for a problem like these two we see here, notice that these are not like square roots, they're both different. So what we need to do is work with these to where we get things inside the match. Now the second one is already simplified. We can't do anything with that, so it's already square root of 2. So we want to work with the first one in hopes that that's a square root of 2 as well, to where then we can combine these together. Now the way that we're going to do this inside is we're going to rewrite the 18. Now we're going to write the 18 as a product of two numbers. Now, of course, we could do a couple different things. We could do a 3 times 6, but that's not going to really help us very much because 3 and 6 are not perfect squares. We can't take the square root of those and get a whole number answer. So instead, I'm going to write it as square root of 9 times 2. And so I'm doing it that way because then we can break this up and do a square root of 9, which we know is going to be 3. So I'll just go ahead and add this second one there. And then the next step, I'm going to use the product property. So the product property says that we can take a square root and break it up into two different things multiplied together. The square root of 9 is going to turn into a 3. So again, that's the idea there. You're trying to find a number for which you can take the square root, and then it's no longer underneath the original square root. It comes on the outside. Now we can multiply. 5 times 3 is 15. And so if we do this now, we can combine this together and subtract. Now that we have square root of 2 and square root of 2, these are now square roots that we can combine together. 15 minus 2 is 13, so we get 13 square root of 2, and that's going to be your answer. So let's do the next one. This one we're going to do a similar way. We want to look at the 20 that's inside. And so we want to think about what numbers multiply to make 20. We have 2 and 10, but we want to use 4 and 5 because 4 is a number that we can take the square root of. So we have 7. We have 4 times 5 inside here. The 3 square root of 5, we'll just put that on the end here. There's not much we can do with that until the end. This, we'll break this up and do 7 times square root of 4, and then times the square root of 5. So we're breaking these up into two separate square roots. And then that turns into a 2. Just like that. Now, if you want to skip this step here and just go from this one down to there, that's fine. So, of course, each of these we have a plus 3 square root of 5. So if you want to skip the intermediate step and go from this and just pull that one out front like that, that's okay to do. But I'm showing you step by step why that 2 comes out. And it's because we're breaking this up into 4 times 5, and we pulled that square root of 4 becomes a 2. So that's how we're able to do that. Now, the two radicals are the same. We can now add these together. So 14 plus 3 is 17. And then you just include a square root of 5 after it.